Hi everybody and welcome to Des and Lauren. We're going to be speaking about pollution and how South Africa is being picked on yet again.
By the United Nations. Who's perplexed at our pollution? How dare we? Does that sound familiar? How dare we pollute as much as we do? You need to switch off 16,000 megawatts worth of coal-fired power stations immediately because you are nowhere in the top 10 of the greatest polluters in the world. But you need to switch off your 16,000 megawatts.
So this is another article from News 24. It says SA's dirty air. Perplexed UN Special Rapporteur calls for better enforcement of pollution laws. The enforcement of laws on pollution and the release of toxins into the environment in South Africa need to be tightened, said United Nations Special Rapporteur on Toxics and Human Rights, Marcos Orellana, on Friday. And
he can stuff off, okay? Marcos Orellana, stuff off out of our country. We did not elect you, piece of trash. Footsack.
That is very funny. I just wanted to say...
That's how I feel.
I
like
agree with
literally.
You. I absolutely agree with you. But I want to say to everyone, go and follow United Nations on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram. So you really get an understanding for yourself how they are really just an infiltrating agency worldwide to roll out an agenda that's neither democratically created or implemented. And it's important that you do that. I follow UN. I actually shared something from the UN the other day, which might confuse people. I'm sharing it not because I agree with it. I'm sharing it because I want to show you how they affect government decisions.
And you've seen that with your own eyes. I mean, you've met with these people before.
Yes, long time ago. Orellana has spent several weeks in the country and on Friday announced his preliminary findings on human rights related to the environmentally sound management and disposal of hazardous substances and waste in South Africa. His research was conducted from 31st of July to 11th of August this year. He said that air pollution in the country could be attributed mainly to the 90% coal-generated electricity plants and mining.
Of course.
And we are a mining country.
We're a mining country, and you should ask him where all of those minerals are going, not to the country. It's leaving this country to these countries. I've got a list open of the top 10
Can't wait to get to that.
polluters. We're going to get to that just now. Maybe they should start there.
They absolutely should. It says here, a study has estimated that 2,239 deaths and 9,500 cases of bronchitis per year are attributed to air pollution in South Africa.
And we're not saying air pollution is good
We
at
don't
all.
like air pollution.
Not at all.
I can't stand air pollution. I want to move out of Cape Town because of air pollution. But the problem I see, we need industry. We need to develop the economy. We need
But
power
don't build
to
your
produce.
homes on top of it.
Property development and urbanization, the way it happens, is the actual problem here. We shouldn't settle around city centers where commerce happens. We should be living outside of that. And then we should have free state transport to get us to work from our safe, clean, free of pollution homesteads, wherever we live, outside of the city and the pollution. It's disgusting. So the fact that we have nowhere in the world has any government gotten public transportation right. And nowhere in the world has any country that I know of that participates in the mainstream economy gotten an alternative to urbanization right either. So we need to start looking for solutions that are completely out of the box and never been implemented before. So he said the country was advanced in terms of our constitutional rights. Is he bedorned? To a safe and healthy environment and has strong laws on pollution and releasing of toxins into the environment, but the enforcement of these rights and regulations is missing. Exposure to dust and contaminants can profoundly impact human health and the environment.
Absolutely.
The issue is the enforcement of laws and regulations, and enforcing laws and regulations on business and industry, not on humans and the way we live.
Yes.
That is the dividing line.
But the thing is, industry should not pollute when people are built on top of it. However, in South Africa, many industries were built with no people around them. Then the developments took place. If you look at when Koeberg Nuclear Power Station was built, for instance, and I mean, luckily Koeberg doesn't send the same pollutants as a coal-fired power station into the air, and that is why nuclear is a common sense option. But Tableview was tiny. There was no Parkland, Sunningdale and all of these places. The creep towards what people call the threat, whether it's a nuclear power station or coal-fired power station or whatever, is just increasing. Right around Acacia, which is a gas-fired power station that's been there for decades, they build houses right up to the boundary. And when those gases come out, I mean, where does it go, people?
It's terrible.
So, yes.
I lived in Parklands for a little while, and without fail, Wednesday, Thursday-ish, would always smell that chemical Caltex. And I was so furious.
And Caltex was there long before there were any houses in the area.
I was so furious that the estate agent said nothing to us. I remember, because it's a house my parents bought, and I remember I was 18 at the time, I said to them, is there anything we should know? Because we're new to the area, we don't come from Cape Town, is there anything we should know about this area before we actually buy? They said, no, nothing at all, everything's fine. And then we buy the house and we're living in it, and then you're smelling this Caltex. It's actually terrible. So everyone's complicit in this urbanization, property development.
But you see, it wasn't Caltex's fault. Caltex was there first.
I agree with you.
Caltex was built outside of the metro, far from the metro, for a reason.
That's why I say property developers, for me, are worse than politicians.
Okay, but let's carry on to the UN telling us what to do in our country.
Yes, isn't it beautiful that they have this much influence?
Yeah, they have a whole lot of detail now on the particulate levels, and it's shocking in many places. We're not denying this. However, they want us, South Africa, a developing nation, to go and reduce our electricity supply. We're already in a crisis.
It will destroy our economy. People will be dying.
That's exactly what they want.
People will be dying not of bronchitis,
but
of
of many other things.
Starvation, unrest, all the rest. I'm perplexed that the government is licensing new coal projects and coal mines, coal-powered power plants and offshore oil and gas projects, he said. While Johannesburg does not have the worst air quality and pollution in the world, experts say the city's air is less than ideal. You can say that about all over the world.
Yeah, everywhere.
The most recent IQM measure shows that Johannesburg is 2.6 times higher than the World Health Organization's annual air quality guideline value. IQ Air, an international air quality information platform, is informed by the SA Air Quality Information System. According to IQ Air recordings this week, sensitive groups in Johannesburg should wear masks outdoors, reduce outdoor exercise, close windows, and run an air purifier.
Absolutely, all these things are true. These things are correct. Go and shut down these power stations and tell me what's going to happen to the country. And the power stations are not in Johannesburg. They are outside Johannesburg. These pollutants are coming from cars.
We should start exit outside metros.
Yes, leaving the metros. Let's all go live in the boondocks.
It's definitely in my medium-term plans. So I don't know if you want to join me, but I don't want to live. For me, of all the factors of deciding where to live, I want clean air.
Yeah, and we are taking action to do just that.
However, killing the economy is not the answer either. It's far more complex than that. And I think it's important to note the top 10 polluters in the world. And it's interesting that this UN person is picking on South Africa when it's a global problem. It's not just a South African problem. And we are a mining country, and our economy is declining because the energy output is not increasing. And we are being picked on by a global gang system, is the way I see it. Top 10 polluters.
Yeah. China, with more than 10,065 million tons of CO2 released. United States next. They probably fund the UN the most with 5,416 million tons of CO2. India, Russia, Japan, Germany, Iran, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia at number 10 with 615 million tons. We are nowhere near that. Nowhere near. So for them to tell us to do something to our electricity supply in South Africa is rich. What we should do is have alternative forms of transport, because I believe most of the pollutants come from motor vehicles, and especially trucks, because the rail system has fallen apart. Now you have trucks on the N1, the N2, the N3, the N4 and the N7 spewing out bad quality gases because they put in the cheapest diesel they can find.
Again, the solution is we need South Africa to be a strong, sovereign, independent state where we are governed well, where our government actually functions in a democracy this world hasn't seen, that will be the solution, not this. So what I want to make a case for here is that the United Nations is actually a threat to state stability by doing this, because they are going to completely undermine our entire economy, crash the economy if they have to enforce what they want to enforce, which means they are a threat to our nation, which makes them, they should be on our South African intelligence database #1 terrorist list, in my opinion, because they will completely destroy the economy if the agenda has to be implemented fully.
And the people of South Africa, what we can do is move to places where it's not polluted so badly. And if you change how you live, and you are not just chasing money, fiat currency, you can do that. If you use the fiat currency that you do have to make sure that you can live somewhere where it's not as polluted, and you live a different life, then things can change. And we will put a video together that will show you how this new power-hungry fourth industrial revolution will consume more power, not less power, a lot more power, need exponentially more mining than what we have right now. And a lot of people have said that the internet generation, the time of the internet, the fourth industrial revolution will reduce the amount of power we need. Not true.
Yes, we'll share that on Telegram, right?
Yes.
We'll share that on Telegram.
And we will do a video on that, a video compilation as well. But have a look at that video that we put out. It was beautifully put together by someone at the Manhattan Institute. And yes, it just puts out facts. And we've been lied to. I've spoken about that now for an extended period of time. I started the YouTube platform because of that. Before the channel became 00 Des and later Des and Lauren. So yes, this fight is real. And the United Nations telling us how to do things when they were not elected by any of the people in the country. You need to ask yourself, will the government just fall in line? Will they shut down 16,000 megawatts worth of coal-fired power stations and literally ditch the country into complete chaos?
I don't think our government will actually.
They won't.
Actually,
not even Cyril will do
but
that.
I do think if anyone else was in power, the chances of them doing that would be increased.
Yes, absolutely.
So please just remember, go and follow the United Nations on your social media platforms. Have a look at what they're up to. They post all the time. They're recruiting youth all the time. Have a look. Have a look at Agenda 21. I think I'd love to
And 2030.
I'd love to do an in-depth video, maybe a Thursday night live stream on Agenda 21. It's so important that we understand this. And as it says...
Maybe we can do that this week.
As the fact checkers say, the Agenda 21 is a non-binding agreement, but it doesn't mean that there aren't people continuously lobbying our government to implement things, and it doesn't mean that there aren't incentives for them to do
Remember,
that.
withholding money, you will be financially influenced.
Exactly.
Yes.
So look forward to that content as well. And in the meantime, educate yourself. Go to the United Nations website. Go to their social medias and have a look at what they're doing firsthand, so you don't just have to listen to us.
And this is why we need to be self-reliant as a country, so we don't depend on other foreign entities for financial assistance like beggars at a table. We need to turn the tables on that completely.
Yes, looking forward to doing that with you guys.
Absolutely.